I've got to ask, how did he find time given the million court cases that he has on at the moment?
We're up to four, which is we shouldn't be at a single one, but yeah, here we are at four court cases. But you know what? I'll tell you, it's amazing because this is a man who really does have infinite energy. If you think back to the 2016 and 2020 campaigns, you'll hear people all day long telling you that they had far less energy than Donald Trump, who was twice their age in some cases. So it's not surprising, I think, to me to know that he would come to an event like this. But it is kind of crazy that we're here in 2023. We're less than 1 year away from a presidential election. And the leading candidate on the Republican side, the likely Republican nominee, and who I believe will become the 47th president of the United States, is here with four separate court cases in four separate areas across the country. Absolutely ridiculous. But Erin, I think it shows the people of our country here in America that the swamp and the Washington, D.C. elite are terrified of Donald Trump. Everyone can see that that is what this has been about from the very beginning.
Yeah, and you look at the nature of it, and it's getting deeply personal here. I saw your husband on Fox this week talking about how Ivanka and his brother have been dragged in. I mean, what kind of strain is this putting on not just the immediate family, but the extended family?
I mean, I hate to say you ever get used to treatment like this and being targeted and kind of having the focus on you unfairly, and especially in a situation like this, completely ridiculously unfairly. But it never feels good. It never feels good to see my husband have to go through something like this, certainly. And I think that, the goal is obvious. I think the goal is to make it so bad on every front for Donald Trump. They've obviously targeted him directly and they're threatening his freedom here in America. But now they're going after his company, a company that he spent his entire life building. And I believe on the other end of this, not only will you see Donald Trump as the next president of the United States, but every single one of these cases he will be exonerated in, and people will see how utterly stupid they all were.
Does he show any fear at all or anxiety around, the potential of going to prison?
Not at all. He always has a great air about him. He always has a great, outlook on everything. And I think it really does speak to the fact that, Erin, much like we knew with the Russia collusion hoax, that was nonsense, that was totally made up. We never colluded with Russia, of course, to win the 2016 election. We just said, well, we know the truth here. We know that we didn't do anything wrong. And ultimately, we believe the truth will come out. I think it is much the same in all of these cases right now. So yes, the threat is very real. And make no mistake about it, the Democrats here in America are so bloodthirsty to take down Donald Trump. They would love to see a man behind bars like Donald Trump because, man, the Trump derangement syndrome is way off the charts at this point. But no, he really never seems stressed about it. It never seems to bother him. And I ultimately believe it's because he, like we all have always known, he knows the truth,
Moving on now, and Xi Jinping is in the United States at the moment, which is a very big deal. And I think dialogue of any form is a positive thing. Communication is always better than none. He met with President Biden. What are your thoughts on that meeting? There were two very different versions of events that went out in China and that went out in the Western world in regards to what was discussed.
Well, it was interesting to see the red carpet really rolled out for President Xi. And instead of pressing him on the origins of COVID-19, like we still really have never seen Joe Biden do to President Xi, we didn't hear anything about that. Of course, you have China constantly threatening to invade Taiwan. Doesn't seem like we really are paying very much attention to that here with Joe Biden at the helm. And I do think communication is good, but I think when you have a weak leader like Joe Biden and you put him right smack in front of someone like President Xi, an operator like that guy, I don't know that it spells anything good. It seems like it spells more of disaster. We have exuded weakness on the world stage with this president. We saw it with the exit from Afghanistan. We've seen it now with so many different situations. You certainly wouldn't have the situation between Russia and Ukraine. You certainly wouldn't have the situation in the Middle East if not for a weak president and his bad decision making. And so now face to face with somebody like Xi Jinping, I don't know that was maybe the best situation, but time will ultimately tell on that one.